I'm overheating, but at the same time, it's cold as shit. It's that weird balance where when I'm under my blankets, I feel like I'm in the fucking Sahara Desert or a sauna. When I take them off, it feels as if I am this close to death's door and that everything is going cold and that I am in the cold, desperate tundras of the Antarctic. So, yeah, I'm gonna stay under the blankets for now like a little fucking lizard and just let myself incubate. Now, I guess I can get this video off my chest. For those of you who were like, hey, how's it been about coping with that Christmas guy that you met with for a week? You know, the good and the bad about that. To rip off the band-aid, we talked recently, and it went interesting. I don't know how much I want to share, but fuck it. Y'all have heard a decent amount of the details, and I guess I'm still kind of wondering if I even have the energy or even want to fully, like, go through every single memory. But I'll say it like this. Mitchell is a gaslighting, stupid son of a bitch. And he also made me feel incredible. Let's just say I was gonna do something really, really bad to him. I basically thought to myself, he hurt me really bad, both in the sense of like the good he did that probably meant nothing to him, and the bad he did that meant everything to me and hurt me so. Like when I was drunk in that hotel room, I fucking hated that. Any other moment aside from that was usually blissful though, and I still got dismissed and not cared about. And it's a weird, layered emotional place to be. But I can assure you that even if we were on good terms, I would have still brought that up to him. And I bet it still would have gone bad. But if you're wondering how a conversation went, I'll put it like this. Let's just say I was going to do something bad in relation to his parents, where they would have had to find out some very heavy information. Let's just say I chose not to. Let's just say he left me a bunch of voicemails because he was panicked. And at that point, I was like, damn, he can't just let me do my little toxic bullshit of telling his parents about the bad he did to me, and also other things that he felt about them. And I know you're like, wow, to me, that would have been a very bad thing to do. I'm aware. I know it was a bad thing to do. The way my morality can work is that I don't always care about doing bad things if I render a person as bad. Simply put, it's like, okay, love bombed by some dude who sexually assaulted me, or at least tried to at the very bare minimum, during our trip. An otherwise long romantic week with red flags scattered here and there that I sadly missed, and then getting abandonment trauma, and then also having to be like, oh, look, you prayed for the best guy ever, and you got two awful traumas your way. Simply put, I didn't care about what was good or right or anything. I just thought to myself, if I can fuck up his life a little bit like he fucked up my year so far, this would be amazing. But he called me. And then I kind of thought he called like 3 times. I just turned off my phone and took a shower and really thought to myself, what would I gain from trying to talk to him? Let me think. And then I called him back. He was hyperventilating and having a damn near panic attack on the phone with me, and he apologized for things, but let's just say conversation quickly led into him trying to gaslight and change up history and revise history, and he was forgetting massive details. Mind you, he has a diagnosed ADHD. He doesn't believe he does, but no offense, the more I interact with him even now, I see that his diagnosis actually was very accurate. Like, Mitchell's the type of guy where it seems like whatever brings him like joy and fun of him is what he will focus on, and anything else he can tune out. So he's the type of guy where he won't care if he's walking several blocks in the wrong direction, or if we're at a bus stop and we're missing our bus endlessly, or if like he's not that aware of anything else. As long, so simply put, he enjoyed conversation with me when we hung out for that week. So then next thing you know, he would just like walk red lights, and then I would have to be like, shit, this is a red light, Mitchell, what the fuck are you doing? And I'd have to like get him out the way of cars and shit. Or like I would have to get used to steering him, because it was flattering that it's like, okay, he's so enraptured with me that he is unaware of anything else, but damn, that's still dangerous. Or little other things. It's hard to say, and I don't know if I want to spend a million long years talking about it, but I'll say it like this. It seems like at absolute like best, he has intense, very bad memory issues. But even then, I can tell he's kind of bullshitting. He is I'm not gonna make excuses for him. He is a revisionist. He was intentionally trying to gaslight me, and anytime I tried to recall something, he would lie. Mind you, several bad things happened during our trip. Several, more than just the sexual assault. I remember there was an instance where he just I was having a mental breakdown and slamming my head against like the glass pane of a bus stop, and it was painful. But sorry, ouch. That one actually physically hurt to say that pun. It made me cringe that bad. It almost hurt as much as the fucking glass pane did on my skull that night. And I remember he didn't have any reaction. He just stared at me emotionlessly. And I remember I mentioned that passively. I didn't feel any sort of way about it because what happened happened. But he just fully immediately started like shouting and screaming into the phone, like, that did not fucking happen. You're saying I just stared at you like some sort of fucking psychopath? I said, yes. He said, what? No, no fucking way would I do that. And I said, well, you're not gonna change my, nigga, I've been the one replaying this in my head endlessly. You were the one who tossed me aside and were fine abandoning me for a month straight. I'm the one who actually remembers shit. I'm the one who actually had time to think about it and remember everything in fucking detail. I'm the one who you've praised the memory of. You're just mad that you think that it's gonna paint some narrative of you being a bad guy. Like, that's his thing. He doesn't want to be seen as a bad guy, even though he does shit that's not the best. But yeah, he kept arguing like, "Oh, you're saying I just stared at you like a psychopath?" I said, "Yes," and he was like, "Oh, what? So what? Every single like that never happened. You never slammed your head in front of me." And I said, "Yes, I 100% did." And the fact that you even forgot or are trying to pretend you forgot is insane. And I think you might need actual help. And he said, "Oh, what? So like everything you say is just like totally true as fuck and perfectly memorized and by rule?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "And everything I say is just like a lie or just evil as fuck?" And I said, "I mean, yeah." Yes. Yeah, and he didn't like that I was saying yes, because if you say, he probably expected like, no, like fawn response, like, no, no, you're not a bad guy. Hey, sweetie, calm down. I was just like, yes, nigga, I remember everything, and you're not gonna change my mind about it. And I also said, mind you, Mitchell, I didn't even say you were a psychopath. You're just panicking because you think I'm gonna call you a psychopath. Meanwhile, I don't give a fuck that much. It's like, okay, boo-hoo, you didn't respond to me committing harm against myself. Boo fucking who. But he still kept fucking throwing a tantrum. And then it led to a screaming match because let's just say he tried to gaslight about a lot of things. And then next thing you know, we both were just kind of screaming in the phone at each other like, "Oh, you're a fucking liar. You're a fucking liar and you want me to fucking hate you. Fucking shit. Fucking stupid. You're fucking ridiculous. You just want to fucking tarnish my image, don't you?" And we both were just yelling shit at each other endlessly, endlessly. Like, he was the one saying shit about tarnishing images, but he was really losing his shit over the phone. And I hate to say it, I was kind of turned on. It's like, I hate to, like, they say that psychologically a man, if you stress out a man, he likes you more, which is, and before you say it, no, I'm not trying to stress him out for the point of me liking him. I was genuinely furious with him, but I could kind of tell that it's like, there's something that he is feeling towards me because he has this rage. It was detectable, it was noticeable. I don't know, kind of like the same way you'd feel as like when you were a teenager or a kid or whatever, and like you would tell a kid like, make me or something, like, that weird little tension you'd feel, like sexual tension. It was present between me and Mitchell. And I kind of thought to myself, okay, he's screaming at me like he hates me, but he also is really obsessed with trying to get me to like him. And he is really, really, really dedicated to, like, keeping my attention on him and not wanting, like, trust him. Like, I thought to myself, this is an extremely emotionally devastating and painful and irritating conversation. And this man may be a lot more worse, like, more pathetic than I thought. Like, to a terrible extent. If anything, as sad as it is, and I might cry if I say this, he reminds me of my ex Jared. And that's not a good thing, because you know who Jared was like? Morgan. And you know who Morgan was like? My ex from high school. And you know what's in common with all of these niggas? Being evil! Like my mother! Ah, good fucking lord. But, yeah. I remember at some point I just was like, this is fucking useless and you're stupid and do not talk to me again. Something along those lines. Something obviously a lot more intelligent and complex, but I don't remember everything because I was trying to desperately forget him. And I hung up. And I just started looking at tabs and shit on my computer and listening to music. And he called back within like 30 seconds. He called back. And I kind of made him wait a second, but then I picked up because I thought, okay, let's hear this idiot out. And I said, "Why are you trying to talk to me?" He said, "What?" I said, "Why are you trying to talk to me? It's already clear we aren't going to see eye to eye. It's already clear we aren't going to get along. What is it you hope to gain from this?" He said, "I don't know. I just want to talk." And we tried to talk. Shit didn't get easy, but I'll skip to this part. Eventually, on the phone, things did get more emotional. You know, he still was trying to like revise history and gaslight a little bit, but he was doing it less so, which isn't a good thing inherently. Just because he did it less doesn't change the fact that he was still doing it and still wanted to do it and was still being a dick. But let's just say eventually he just said shit like, I'm not gonna say he said all the right things. He didn't. But he did apologize profusely. He was like, "I'm not equipped to deal with topics of suicide, so I didn't call you back." Me, I see that as fucking bullshit. Because it's like if I heard that someone I cared about was really feeling suicidal and stressed out from their fucked up situation, and also aside from that, because of what I did to them, and like how I abandoned them when they were specifically seeking out to not be abandoned, and how I fucked up their boundaries and shit, the least you could do is just text like a hi, are you okay? Do you need to talk? They didn't. They knew and they let me sit here all month being miserable off of Mountain Dew. That rhymes, but I'm still sad. And I guess like this happens with me. Sometimes if someone does the right things, my mind will be like it's easier to repress it. And I can tell it's happening again. That's what I used to do with Jared, and that put me in a bad spot. It's what I used to do with Morgan, and even sometimes Liam. And I can't. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to keep being in situations where I'm with some psychopathic motherfucker who just wants to hurt me and flirt with me, and it's not good. But I don't know. I hardly remember much of this conversation, but I'm just documenting now, so I try not to forget. Mainly because it was so late at night. I'll put it like this: we started talking. We got a little bit more gentle in the conversation, and I guess he kind of confessed that he left my life because he was scared, and I don't know, he saw the shit I said about him online, and a few other freaky things started happening. He claims that he was so stressed out about the situation that he lost 10 pounds. I fucking doubt that. Like, really, 10 pounds in a month? I doubt that. Also, just, I don't know. Like that just seems like a lie. Like, sir, no, you're a routine man. You don't have to lie and say you lost 10 pounds to try to guilt trip me. I don't give a fuck. Cause guess what, nigga? I have been suffering endlessly too. You think I'm gonna give a fuck about you, the guy who hurt me, endlessly suffering? If anything, like it doesn't make me happy to hear, or does it? A little bit. It doesn't make me inherently sad. It just makes me feel like, okay, that's a thing that happened to you. Don't care, didn't ask. I've been going through it too. Fuck you. And like, I don't know. I'll put it this way, but to rip off the band-aid, conversation did get gentle. And then eventually, somehow, like, I'll put it to you this way. The topic of why he left came up. And this is going to hurt to relive this conversation, but this is the part I remember pretty decently. I remember that basically, to sum it up, the gist was he left my life because allegedly he claims that he thought he would not be able to give me a life that was happy. Like, the little week we had was like a fun little vacation, but it wasn't practical because we had very different hobbies and interests. Well, at least like some we did have a lot in common, but at the same time we still had some things very, very different. He was like, yeah, like if it was more aligned with like something more with me, it would have been like 50-50 of like, half the week we would have done what you wanted of like, the comedy shows and the dinners and this and that. But then the other side would have been like, we go camping or do something more aligned with me and stuff. And he explains that he just was a coward and he didn't know how to process any of the shit even before it hit the fan. And he also didn't know how to deal with just, yeah. And he got a little clammed up because he just kind of knew he sounded pathetic as he said it. But I said, I understand. And he said, you do. And I said, yeah. I don't think you remember this conversation, do you? And he said, no. And he said, yeah, we had this conversation before at the hotel. He explained to me way back that basically he was afraid of being seen as boring to me. I remember he sat there in front of the fireplace with me when we were at that hotel, and he was like, I don't do a lot. It's actually quite embarrassing. I just don't think you'd like me. Like, and he just proceeded to explain how all he does is like read books and drink tea and like listen to podcasts and then take long bike rides because he doesn't have fucking shit to do. And then, like, aside from that, like, go on another hike because he doesn't have shit to do. And then maybe he'll decide to go to do kickboxing, but then after that, he just rides his bike even more. Then he goes home and he sleeps, and that's about it. And then he doesn't really do anything new or out of the ordinary. And I remember he was like, that seems really fucking boring. I said, I hate to break it to you. That's more than the average man does. Like, no offense, a lot of these niggas out here just kind of watch sports all day or play Elden Ring all day. They don't like it's like I kind of it's like, oh, look at me, I'm so boring. I have a healthy, fit lifestyle, and I drink tea and read books and touch grass and have no social media presence and and actively take care of my health and body and mind. There's no way to me would be attracted to me. Like, sir, come on now. There's like, it's very funny how he talks about his dating life because it's like nigga, you are handsome and you are like 6'4" and in shape and have a well-paying job. If you are single, it's by choice. But he did also tell that to me in the same conversation last night. He did also admit that a reason he doesn't quite date often is because he feels like most people are too basic for him, and that he feels like he kind of likes, I don't know, how do I put this? It's kind of like the same reason I kind of get bored with people until they say some shit about serial killers or cults or about like very interesting niche topics like plants or succulents or like conspiracy theories or like mental illness. It's like, you need to have something because I don't like when people don't have something. No offense, people with something are usually more interesting and more aligned because, no offense, my life has been a lot of something. I like, shout out to those who do enjoy Lululemon and Taylor Swift and like simple lives. Nothing's wrong with that whatsoever. I just noticed I kind of get along better with the freaky bitches who are like, hey, I'm obsessed with true crime and arachnids. And like, I collect taxidermy of like mice. It's like, I like those people. I'm just saying. Ah, yeah. But I guess I'll say it like this. Mm, conversation with Mitchell, I did explain to him, I was like, yeah, you told me before how you just were worried because we have such divergent life paths and interests and all that. So it made sense. You made clear that you liked me, but you also were like, you didn't know where I could fit into your life. And you also told me, you made it clear you're a very routine man. When you're out of routine, it also, that's another reason I think he's ADHD, is that he has a strict routine, and when he's out of it, like everything gets thrown off. Like, he even at some point he didn't really eat for like 2 days during our trip because he straight up forgot to eat. And I had to remind him. I was like, Mitchell, eat these fucking nachos that I bought because I swear to God, you've been doing nothing but smoking endlessly and drinking Red Bull and sherry and like little bits of peanut butter cookie here and there. You're going to die. Eat the fucking carne asada. And I had to like damn near force feed him. But also him smoking all the time, I think that's just his way of like having some sort of like, he seems to also need to have activities to burn off his energy. No, yeah, honestly, yeah, I think he got the ADHD diagnosis super super young. I wouldn't be I think he probably does have it. But anyway, let me continue on. In fact, maybe later I'll tell him, I'll be like, I have theories to believe your autism diagnosis is accurate, and here's why. But I don't know, he's sensitive to that topic, so maybe I won't. He's a sensitive man. Also, that's another reason, rejection sensitive dysphoria. He's very sensitive to the idea that he is not seen as good enough. But then again, he also has, like, fucked up family. So, anyway, as I was saying, I told him, Mitchell, you're a man of routine. It makes sense. Like, you have a very different life than mine and you need to be on schedule. It sounds to me like you just were worried about, like, how I'd fit into your life because it's like you like consistency and schedule, and me involved in your plans would throw a wrench in that. And he was like, yeah, that's exactly it. And I was like, yeah, And I can't be mad at that. I just would have liked some communication, like, that could have helped out a bit. Because I can be flexible, and I just wanted a friend. But even before I said that, he also was adamant, like, even during the heated moments, he was like, I would like to be a friend to you, because I think that would be a good idea for the both of us going forward. And that was sweet. Oh no. Ew. I flirted with him tonight. I'm disgusted by that. Ugh. Well, he flirted with me, kind of. A little bit. Well, Anyway. Anyway, conversation got a little sweeter, and then next thing you know, he was asking me about the photos I had printed, and we were talking about what our favorite memories of the trip were, and things got nicer. And then, I don't know, then conversation just turned into like conversation you'd have with anybody, and God knows I needed that. And then next thing you know, we were just talking about like really good food we've had, or really fun stories, or about like moments during our trip that were cool, or moments where I made him feel good, or moments he made me feel good, or like jokes we remembered, or childhood anecdotes, or how our parents were. And like it was simple. And then it was just really nice. And we talked like that for ages. And I remember at some point I was like, "Oh shit, we've been on the phone for like like damn, we started this phone call at like 12 and it's already like 3:30. You sure you don't want to go to bed, Mitchell?" He was like, "I'll let you know when I do." And then like he just proceeded to keep talking. He didn't want to, or he just kind of. And even if I was kind of like, "Hey, are you sure? You seem really sleepy. You're yawning a lot." He just would like kind of quietly dismiss me by just being like, "Ooh, I want to have dreams. I think I was having a dream a second ago. I almost fell asleep." And at some point in the phone call, he actually did fall asleep on the phone, but only for a bit. And I accidentally woke him up from responding to a text that Liam sent me. And then I don't know. We talked. He just even then I was like, "Nigga, I can just hang up. You clearly need to go to sleep, and you're so exhausted." But he refused. He just wanted to. He was like, "Ooh, let me tell you about the dream I had for the. Ooh, how long was I out? 10 minutes. Damn!" And it got wholesome. And next thing you know, like, let's just say he did fully eventually fall asleep on the phone, and he snores loud as fuck. Like, damn. But I kind of thought to myself, I could hang up, or I could just let the phone call keep going and see what happens. And so I just put down my phone, lowered the volume, plugged it into my charger, and fell asleep. And then some point around like 8 a.m., I just hear the sounds of like loud ass grown man wrestling, and then I hear, what the fuck? Oh shit, my phone's on. Ah. And then I hear him kind of like talking out loud to himself. And then he's like, oh, it's still going. Hey, Tamia, are you awake? You up? And I woke up and I was like, oh shit, we went to sleep on the phone together? That's wild. That's some high school shit right there. And we started talking again. Like without like just immediately started talking about like, oh shit, have you ever had crab stuffed salmon? Oh, you've never had gumbo? Oh, hey. And then we just started joking and telling fun little anecdotes, and it was really nice. And eventually we went to sleep, and I also did notice that like he only went to bed because I guess something in reference to like my dating experience got referenced, and he hates hearing about that. But yeah, he went to bed eventually, and so did I. But and I just kind of thought to myself, wow, I did not expect to have an 8 hour conversation on the like I went from like thinking I was never gonna see that man again, and just being fully content with sending some mildly fucked up but well realistic messages to his parents, and then blocking him and going about my life heartbroken but living. And instead it's like, oh, he's back, and we had our fight, but then we also had amazing conversation and socializing that I really needed, and he agreed to be a friend to me. And then next thing you know, we fell asleep on the phone with each other just talking. And like it just was so sweet, because he already kind of was gushing on the phone about how much he did really like that most of our trip that we did have together was just talking, like endless free flowing conversation. Like we got along very well. It felt nice that it kind of like happened for us again. I don't know how to feel about it. And this is what makes it worse, because I still remember what happened.
And I know from Jared and I know from other people that it's like if I were to dismiss this, like I don't know, it's like it's always gonna be there. It's like a stain on his image. And then I also, how do I put this? I could do as I've done before with other exes. I could be like, hey, it was just a mistake that he made drunk. Oh no, but this like no, I know what happened. I know what he did. I know that he meant it. I know that he meant it. And then on top of that, it's I still have to remind myself, yes, the same guy who is sweet talking you on the phone and is being so sweet, and even after that 8 hour long phone call, the second like he went to bed, woke up at a decent hour, went about his day, and then messaged me at like 7, 8 p.m. the same day just to check in on me and see how my sleep schedule was and how I was doing. Yes, that same man, he's the one who did what he did to you. And it's like I need to let myself be angry, but a part of me just wants to let myself be happy because I've been so unhappy for so long, and I want to cherish a alleged good thing while it's here. And if I can't change what happened, at least I can change the future and maybe make a good ending this time. But why is it on me? It's not. And it disgusts me. And I'm angry at myself when I shouldn't be angry at him. I should be angry at him. I need to be like, Mitchell is a fucking asshole. Like, we get it. He's attractive and he's everything you've ever wanted in a man, and goddamn, he's an amazing conversationalist. And trust me, it's complex. It's like I recognize that it's like this is some amazing ish man. Not that amazing. This is some man who I'm very attracted to, who I have had good conversation with. But guess what? It's like we won't make it to Valentine's Day because it's like he's evil. Remember? Remember that? Remember how he fully abandoned you for a month, even knowing you were suicidal, even knowing you were stressed, even knowing how bad it all got. He knew how it was fucking you up, and he chose not to talk to you until consequences started to form for him. He was going to leave you high and dry. He hurt you in that hotel room. He made you cry endlessly to the point where you couldn't do shit. You could barely even eat. You can't even move now. He came back into my life, and it's not all sunshine and daisies. It's not like suddenly I can see clearly now the gray skies and clouds are gone. It's like, no, I'm still laying down. I'm still sad. I'm still anxious, and I'm still feeling weird. And I'm still feeling fucked up. Because how could he do that to me? And I'm feeling annoyed, and I kind of want to do my process of like, oh, fuck that, to get a new man to take away your worries and your pain. But that's ironic because that's how I met Mitchell. I met Mitchell in the first place because he was supposed to be the guy where I wasn't going to use him to like pretend every issue of last year or my whole life didn't happen. I just wanted a week where I didn't have to feel hurt by someone. Liam disappointed me around Christmas, and I wanted to heal that heartbreak and with just some attractive man to clap some cheeks, tap my cervix, fulfill some sexual fantasy, maybe even stroke my ego and make me feel nice a little bit, and then fuck off consensually. But no, I even asked him, I talked to him, I straight up was like, if you really didn't want to be treated as disposable, why did you go for a one night stand? He told me, well, I had no idea my feelings would get this way. And I had no idea that my feelings would have gotten that intense for you. But at the same time, it's like he kept switching between, I only knew you for a week, and it wasn't like we knew each other very long, but enough time. He also switches between that and, oh, well, I was scared of the connection we had. It was so like intense, and like we've never had that with anyone before. But then he would switch back into, oh, it was just meaningless, love bombing, like I have done with other people before. It was supposed to just be like a fling and not matter. And it's like, oh, it's like he's just a responsibility, accountability dodging asshole, and I hate him. He sucks. He sucks massive donkey dick. He is a piece of shit, and I shouldn't like him. I shouldn't. I shouldn't. I should be like, fuck that little weird ass, limp dick, yellow tooth, motherfucking, uh, Adam's apple having bitch. Sorry. Okay, I know some people who are watching this have Adam's apples. You just caught her straight, but whatever. Hell, I became a misandrist because of him, and yet my heart is still like Do you know how fucked up that is? He actually was the final straw to make me go, no more loving men. No more thinking that they deserve rights. No more seeing them as anything but wallets. Because anything that I know, seeing them as humans, seeing them as people, seeing them as loving, empathetic beings has gotten me nowhere. I need to see them as a form of income or a way to buy me something that I don't want to buy myself. And that's all they can be to me. And now he's back. Ironically, despite like he makes more money than Liam has probably in like a fucking like ever. And he has like, and yet he like Jesus, and yet my body is so anxious because I have still some complex weird attachment to Mitchell where I don't want to scare him off and I want him around, and I don't know if it's rooted in attraction or if it's just rooted in how desperately I need a fucking friend that is not just Liam or not just the same few motherfuckers who occasionally come in and out of my life to disappoint me and make me feel embarrassed for ever seeking anything non-romantic. But just God, I'm annoyed. It's God. I can't breathe. I deserve better. But yeah, it's so ironic how I would sooner ask Liam, who works at a fucking grocery store, to buy me some $200 ring or something, than I would ask Mitchell, the little engineer who fucking tried to rape me and put his tongue on my body and his hands on my body when I kept telling him no and stop, and who tried to gaslight me and fucking revise history and make me feel like I was crazy or ignorant or stupid or living in La La Land, and who abandoned me for a whole fucking month after acting like I was his dream girl. He abandoned me for a fucking month, and I was sick and ill and suffering. And where was he? He was probably just doing kickbox, doing bike rides, and being happy as I was miserable as fuck. And I wanted him as just like a little 2 day relief, and he became a month long hell. And I fucking hate him for that. Also, what's funny is today is the 21st. Me and him started talking on December 20th, and now it's January 21st. It's been officially a month of knowing this man. Or at least like a week of knowing him, and a month of fantasizing, and a month of commiserating, and a month of hating. That rhymes. And here I am, just. Mitchell felt like kind of the equivalent of if I was already broken into pieces. Like, imagine you get like a really nice piece of fine china that was like, it had a noticeable thick heavy crack in it that was really going to be hard to fix, and then someone went out of their way to get like molten gold and find a way to like attach all your pieces together back and better than before. And then like, they work on you diligently for like a week and you feel better than before, more radiant, more confident, more amazing, and on top of the moon. And then like, as time passes, you realize it wasn't gold. It was just like Elmer's glue mixed with mica and some really like toxic ass resin that was just artificial. And then you break apart, but then the resin fucked you more, and you can't reattach yourself back into place. You can't fix the fine china into what it was before it had the resin attached, because the resin permanently damaged and seeped into every crack, and now you have to just permanently have a reminder and a stain on you as a being, like, oh, someone pretended that they fixed you and it almost worked and you almost felt amazing, but then you got all cracked and fucked up and now you're worse than ever before, and then you smashed even harder, and now you have to figure out how to put back together all these pieces, every fucking piece, including the pieces that are now a part of you that you don't fucking want. And that's how I feel about this. A part of me wants to be like, just keep Mitchell around as a back burner. If you can't get rid of him, treat him like a fallback guy. Kind of like how I had to deal with Liam when I broke up with him. Because Liam still wanted to be around, but I still recognized that me and Liam had a lot of pain. So I would still date and have my fun and do my thing with other men, but if I ever needed like an ego boost, or to occasionally like have something that grounds me back into reality, or like soothes me, or makes me feel good, gives me an orgasm, and like treats me out to something nice, or makes me feel like I'm just like able to escape reality for a bit, there came Liam. Liam's very sweet to an extent, but you know, everyone has an extent. That's the complexity of human life. You're going to meet some people who are dastardly bastards with good sides, and you're going to meet some people who have their evil moments but can be really fucking sweet. And you're going to have to navigate yourself, or hopefully with the help of others, which is the difference. Mitchell seems like an evil bastard who just has some good moments, and he knows how to play his cards sweetly. I think he just knows it's safer to pretend to be my friend than to actually, like, I don't know. I think he does have a lingering attraction to me, and I think he is curious, but I don't know. I think even if he wanted to, I would not be able to love him the same. I wouldn't even like him. I would just have to get Mae West with it. It would just be like, sorry, honey, you're just one of my hoes. You're just a guy. You had your chance before. Do you think I'm the type of person to walk into a bear trap twice? To step on a landmine with my one remaining good leg? If he were around, it would be like, I want to go to this expensive, like, it would be simply put, it's like, hi, you're around and it's Valentine's Day, and you just so happen to make a good fucking amount of money. And you just so happen to have the right looks and the right dick and the right amount of, like, ick to you where I could just use you and not feel bad about it because I already know you're not a good guy. So I want you to take me to Restoration Warehouse, the fanciest restaurant in all of the city. And I want you to get me every single thing I desire on that menu. I want you to take me to all these amazing, expensive activities and places, and we can pretend that we're so obsessed with each other for another 3 days when secretly I would be, anytime you're asleep around me, I would just be thinking, wow, I could just slap this nigga. I could just take his debit card, take pictures of it, and just leave in the middle of the night. I could do anything. I wouldn't, though. I'd keep up the facade. I'd even lie to him. I'd say, we're gonna see each other again, and then I'd block him. Now, I wonder, because I've had this before. I've dated some niggas, and then sometimes I've circled back on them because I thought to myself, this time I'm gonna rinse him. But you know what happened? I couldn't, because I have a heart and soul, unlike these motherfuckers. So then they'd get away with, like, oh, well, I paid for overpriced sushi, and I got you that big teddy bear, and I paid for the toll fee. So no, I'm not paying for your dinner tonight. So fuck you. Like, and it's like, mind you, that was what happened with my lame ass ex Jared, the rapey nigga. It's like, nigga, I needed to make you grovel more. I should have made you take me to McCooney's a million fucking times, and all you would have been rewarded with is a little fucking smile and to lick my fucking feet. I'm just saying. Or I remember with another ex of mine, I remember I dated him. I forgot what I got when I went back. Oh, I remember I got his debit card information. Oh, I can't legally say that story. Yeah, let's not tell that story. And if you think you heard what you heard, no, the fuck you did not. But yeah, let's just say I got to enjoy some new skincare supplies and hygiene supplies in a mini fridge and a few other things during the pandemic. Amen. Amen. I didn't even keep those items though, because then that's when I got assaulted by my mom a few months later. So it's like, yeah, I went through an abusive relationship, and then I didn't even get. It's like, yeah, also you can't have bonds like that, because then the lesson I learned is like, hey, if you're with a terrible man and you get a lot of gifts, imagine if you lost all the gifts, then would the trauma have been worth it? And it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, oof, I don't think so. Hell, if anything, my only regrets for some of these niggas is that I accepted a lot less. Like, if I could rewind time, I would have looked at that little cheap ass little knockoff sapphire ring Jared got me, and I would have been like, huh, I know you got this shit off like Shein or Temu. Next time, get me some expensive shit off of Etsy. But that was cute for your first attempt. I would have asked for a lot more. I would have, like, I did buck up though at some point during our relationship. I was like, oh, well, simply put, you can't afford to take me to fancy restaurants, so I'm going to go on dates with men who can. And, like, yeah, I don't know. I still did well in some aspects. I don't know. I guess now I'm just like, do I really have it in me this time? Like, I like to think Mitchell broke me, but here I am. He's coming back, and here I am waiting on his texts and getting my, like, a little bit of a smile and blushing a little bit when he responds to me as if that's some sort of treat, I still see him as the prize, and he's not. And I can tell I see him as the prize, and this has happened to me before. I'll date a rich nigga and I'll be afraid to ask him for anything over like $40 because I'll be like, that's way too much money. And it's like, mind you, that nigga has a good job and can buy it. Like these, I've dated niggas who are fucking nepo babies in the financial industry, and yet here I am asking if it's okay to add like a few extra plates of fruit that cost like $4 each to our fucking breakfast, or afraid to ask for a $20 wig. Meanwhile, that nigga's buying $100 one. Why? Because sadly, when I genuinely like a person, I'm scared that they will leave. Because I want friends, I want attachments, I want people around me. I am tired of being isolated. It's not easy to leave fucked up relationships and bonds when you feel like you don't have a support system, when you know you're just going to be alone again financially, emotionally. Like, who's going to be there for you? Then again, it's not like Mitchell's gonna be there for me. So what gain do I have from even having him around? It's a facade. And also, I don't know. Mitchell said he hates facades, so he could just be talking to me because maybe. Well, no, I know why he's talking to me. He approached me because he was afraid of consequences, and he's sticking around because hey, he kind of likes the ego boost or the the idea of us being something, like the little flirtations. But even then, not much. Hell, I even asked him for a photo of him tonight and he didn't give it to me, so he's an asshole. Why do I like this guy again? I don't know. He just so happens to be everything I find attractive in a man, everything I find interesting and desirable in a person, and yeah, but eventually time will fade and I'll forget about him because I've had this before. I've dated men who were fucking beautiful and amazing, and then as time went on, I had to remind myself, oh, I was just 19 with limited dating experience. Like, yeah, he was the best thing you could find at the time. Like, yeah, he was absolutely like rare. He wasn't like a dime a dozen, he was just a gold nugget. But the thing is, like, you could have still found silver or like, like amethyst or diamond. You didn't have to settle for gold. Like, just because he's a rare gold nugget doesn't change the fact that he's like a fucking turd shaped gold nugget. Because then that nigga was evil. If I could rewind time, I would have broke the fuck out that nigga's pockets. Let me tell you. Ooh, let me tell you. And I don't know. I just have to remind myself, hey, do you think you like Mitchell? Like, I've been doing well because I've kind of been telling myself, if you start blushing when Mitchell texts you, that's a sign to not message him for like 5 to 8 hours. If you feel like you're yearning for him, send him a message, sure. But only if you think you can respond without like wanting to kill yourself if he doesn't respond within a day or so. He's a busy man, and even when he's not, he just simply doesn't want to talk to you, and that should bore you. And I have to remind myself, how about you do something interesting? You read a book. You read one of those hypergamy books, you read a manhwa, you do some drawing, you do some artwork, you take a walk, you enjoy some sunshine, you go out to an event, you socialize and meet some friends, you treat yourself, you do well by yourself, and you deserve to feel good. And Mitchell is not your your world. You do not orbit Mitchell. Make him just like one of your many planets that orbit you, because there's other niggas who want you. And I'm reminding myself of that. But it doesn't change the fact that I'll admit I kind of bugged my pussy today because I was beating my meat so hard to the idea of having Mitchell again. And I have been doing that nonstop, honestly, whether we were talking or not. That I actually have like cerebral palsy pussy right now, like Bell's palsy pussy. Like my pussy is like not moving. Like like at all. I don't feel shit down there. It's like that scene from Mr. Deeds where Adam Sandler has the frostbite and he makes his friend slam the metal against it. I'm just saying, you could do anything to me right now. I would not feel it. It's that bad. My obsession with love and people can get that bad. Which reminds me, I should probably watch the movie The Love Witch, because whenever I watch that movie, it helps me. Because I remember when I was obsessed with Morgan, I remember he was also another man who at some point I thought was perfect, who ironically now I would stab in the neck with a fork at full speed so hard that it would hit his fucking well, it would come out the other side basically from the pure strength that I have. Let me just say, I remember during my first heartbreak with Morgan, it sadly didn't stop me from dating him for a whole fucking year, but it helped nonetheless that I watched this movie. It helped me cope to an extent. And also, I kind of did make more. I broke the fuck out of Morgan's pockets. I was like, if you want to be with me, you have to send money because I'm not seeing you for free. We saw how the fuck that went. Fuck you. You broke my heart and devastated me. Like, yeah. Either way, what happened is I watched this movie called The Love Witch. It's a movie about this insanely gorgeous, smart, amazing woman who does witchcraft, and she moves to a new town to hopefully forget about her fucked up past with her parents and her abusive relationship, and she wants to move to a new town and find love. And she meets a guy. They hardly know each other, but she basically is like, I can get him to fall in love with me. She makes him a love potion, he drinks it, and then like her terms for the love potion is, I want you to love me in the same way that I love you. But it doesn't work. The men become desperate like her. They become needy, whiny little babies who are terrified of everything. And this keeps happening to all the men she's seeing, and then they die of eventual heartbreak. And like and then she just is like fuck, and she buries these men, and she keeps accidentally killing men in the process of finding men to love her, but none of them truly love her. They're just like mama's boys or men who want to be nurtured. They don't actually want her, they just want her to make them feel good. An ego stroke who just so happens to look pretty that they can put their dick in. And eventually, this cop on the case, he falls for her too, without a love potion, but even then, he has this amazingly heartbreaking monologue where he's just such an asshole. He's like, love is great, but deep down it's a temporary thing, and I know that even though I admire her for her love, I will one day resent her because I will see her love as a trap, a guilt trip, and he's just going in about how women who love him will eventually be punished for doing so because they weren't because he will never reciprocate the emotions in the same way, so it's just suffocating and needy. And then he will eventually look for a new woman and find the same chase and high and thrill all over again, and have the same disgusting cycle of like loving, so-called loving a woman, but just for the sake of sex or lust or something fun, and then hating her for something he built up and resenting her for her love that is genuine for him. And there's more that goes into the movie. It's like a good bad movie, and it's heartbreaking and it fucks me up. And it was one of those movies that I hated, but I hated every step and moment of it, but I also loved it. But it hurt extra bad, and the reason I hated it was because it was basically me. It was me. It was what I was going through. It was like, look at me, I'm looking for a man for distraction. Like the whole movie, you're just thinking, this is a gorgeous, interesting, awesome ass woman. You can do witchcraft, you can have riches, wealth, gold, a bunch of friends, an amazing time living your life, and instead you are trying to like fuck your best friend's man and do this and do that and be strange. You shouldn't. You can have anyone you want and do anything you want. And if you know men suck, then do anything else. Please don't fall into a bad fate, but she does anyway. And it's so sad and funny and fucked up that, as fate has it, I am still her, despite how it's been 2 years since I've watched that movie. I remember I actually finished that movie right around this time of year. It took a long time to finish it because it was like a scathing knife dragged upon an already open wound. But the knife was scalding hot too, so it's like I know it's cauterizing the wound and helping me heal, but it's also hurting me at the same time, and I can't bear it. I'd rather let the wound bleed me out and fester. The emotional wound, that is. I'm learning my lesson this time. I keep myself busy, and I know Mitchell's routine in his life, so that makes it all more easy. I'm like, I should just paint and draw myself and read books about what I want and shit that, like, I'm reading books about love and hypergamy and psychology and all this shit. Some things I can't talk about men with. And I'm doing all sorts of things, good and bad, for myself, and I am enjoying it hedonistically, and it's just for me. And a part of me is like, I want to enjoy Mitchell hedonistically and just for me. No one else has to understand it. But at the same time, deep down, I know that it's like he won't bring me as much joy as like playing a Steam game or writing a script or making fan art for like a piece of content I enjoy or making a delicious home cooked meal. And he's not the only man out there. Like, hell, I can just keep him as like a little pathetic fallback guy. He would disgustingly like me more because I like him less. But I don't want to rush into dating either. But I want romantic intimacy, and I don't know. I just have to not see Mitchell as the only source of it, but also not be too desperate to seek it. And I think I might just date for the sake of like, hi, I'm meeting you. We can talk. We can see how we feel, and we can vibe, and we can see how that goes. And then whether a date goes good or not, it's like, hey, it got me at the house. It filled my belly. I got to meet someone interesting and new, and I got to move on. And like and then I'll be so used to dudes taking me out to Michelin star restaurants and treating me to jewelry or fun events or just like even amazing conversation and good vibes that I'll forget about Mitchell, just like how I forgot about like hell I forgot about Patrick. I forgot his name was Patrick, the blonde nigga I was with all those years ago when I was 19 and obsessed with him. Huh. Like really. It helps to remember him though, because it makes me go, huh, Mitchell wasn't the only guy to bring me smart, like some sort of emotional comeuppance like this. And it helps to just be like, he's not the last one. There's more for me out there. Plenty of fish in the sea, plenty of things to do. And I am a misandrist. I could just date a bunch of dudes and be like, hi, this is an I could tell when I'm focusing on jewelry making. I wish I had a big strong man to buy me gemstones, and then rinse and repeat with the different things. Like, I wish I had a big strong man to buy me succulents. I wish I had a big strong man to teach me to take cooking classes with me, and then secretly I'm just having them fund all my hobbies under the guise of like a connection, but really I just wanted those hobbies funded. Because fuck it, if I'm gonna get used, I might as well have fun in the process. I'm just saying. Like, I already do that easily with jewelry and certain things. I can do it about other stuff like experiences. Like, fuck it. So I should put myself out there. But at the same, like, for this, just for since I know how I am as a person, going cold turkey is extremely difficult. We've seen how that's been so far. And like, nah, I'm the type of person where it's like, yeah, it helps to have like a simp or two. Like, I have one guy, he was in my DMs talking to me and love bombing me like Mitchell was, but was a lot worse at it. And also, he's pathetic in a million ways. Like, it's like, nigga, you're from Denmark. Why do you have a MAGA hat? You aren't even from here. And then also, his conversational skills sucked, and a few more problematic things. And that kind of helped me go, okay, this works. This is a good practice. And I just straight up asked him, I was like, ha, like, he tried to love bomb me. He was like, I can get you gemstones, this, and that. I said, okay. I like diamonds, moissanite, and opal. He was like, oh, I have something better than that. Palisite. I'm not gonna get you any of those things. And I just kind of was like, huh, a tactic. Fuck you. But he tried to show me. He was like, I know what this girl wants, and I'm gonna marry her. She's the love of my. I can tell that I'm gonna marry you someday. This is what. Cause look, I'm gonna get you stuff like this. And he showed me like an overpriced, like $300 pair of like jewelry, like an ugly ass palisite dog tag necklace off of Etsy, and I was so offended. Let's just say I asked him like, "Hey, I showed you a vendor like several days ago who was actually gonna have like real opal and really nice stuff. How about this? Instead of trying to put into words like what you think I want and dismissing what I tell you I want because that's offensive, how about this? How about you help me buy me like stuff from my friend who lives across the country, or stuff from China made with real opal of much higher quality and beautiful designs that are on my dream board?" And he said yes, but guess what? It's been days he hasn't sent the money, so he's getting fucking ghosted. And he's been responding like very poorly to the silent treatment, but it's like, it's not my fault. I'm just practicing asking for shit and rescinding access when I don't get it. And this helps because I'm building up the muscle for it. And so that way, like, let's say the final boss was Mitchell on Valentine's Day, like another month from now, I can be like, hi, Mitchell. Guess what? I don't care about you anymore. I don't care that you happen to look good because lots of people do. I don't care that you have money because lots of people have money. And I don't give a fuck about you. And you have especially hurt me more so because, hey, you never Venmoed me for the food I got for both of us during the last 2 days of our hangout. Plus, also the traumatic shit during the hangout, after the hangout, the month of ghosting me, the health problems. Hey, how about this? You're gonna take me out to a spa. You're gonna take me. I'm gonna get the steam room treatment. I'm gonna get a deep tissue massage. We're going out to Restoration Warehouse. You're going to buy me a dress and some heels in the process. You're also going to get a honey pack because you're not having a limp dick this time. And we're going to a nice hotel and we're gonna fuck like animals and we're gonna pretend to be in love. And then deep down, I'm gonna block you for like several months after this. And I will ask for that without a single bit of remorse, shame, guilt, or hindrance. And if he says no, or he tries to halt or pause or say, maybe I'll think about it, I'm already on to the next. Because fuck him, he's disposable to me as I was disposable to him. And if to seal the deal on this, I also thought to myself tonight when I was thinking too hard about Mitchell, I kind of thought to myself, hey, Tamia, what do you think he was up to on New Year's Eve? Because while you were crying and sending him messages on Reddit and coping with like everything and depressed as fuck and suffering, he was probably out and about having a fun time with his friends, probably met a new girl who he texts more than he texts you. But remember how he used to text you damn near every second of the day, and now he texts you like every few hours at best, more like every 8 hours? Don't you think he had a New Year's kiss and forgot all about you? He probably had a New Year's kiss. Think about it. He was kissing someone else as you were still thinking about kissing him. And you were printing out photos of him as he was forgetting all about you. So, yeah, I'm going to ask for what the fuck I want and do what the fuck I want. And if he's mad about it, it's like you destroyed her. Every guy complains about the girl I've become after I met them, and it's like my brother in Christ. You were the catalyst. You were the factor. You changed me. That's what happens. You showed you didn't deserve the girl you got before, so now you're getting a new bitch. Liam had to deal with it. He could not handle the sweet girl who just wanted to date every now and then, so he had to deal with the bitch who is openly fucking other men. And he's only getting my attention if he's taking me out for fancy shit and offering to buy me jewelry. Morgan dealt with that. I remember Morgan was like, "Why are you so different now? I hate this. I miss the old you." And I said, "Yeah, since you fucking didn't missed her a lot, considering back when you had her, you were ghosting her for like more than 24 hours while leaving. Like he would open my messages and leave me on red, and then still ghost me and still not respond to a single message despite opening it immediately. Even if I was sad, crying, begging, he would watch every fucking story of me sad, crying, and begging and desperate over him and processing things about him. He knew I was crying. He was probably just at home laughing or feeling good about it. And if he wasn't, then he just was still watching like a fucking coward. Probably a bit of both. He's a disgusting, egocentric asshole narcissist. But simply put, that disgusting asshole, yeah, it's like, yeah, congratulations. You have proven that you have only seen me as a sex object, and any attempt to care for you was dismissed and treated poorly. So now you're the guy where it's like, you're buying me shit. If you want to see me, you're paying this much. If you want this, you're doing that. Fuck you. And he complained and complained. It's like, cool, not my issue because we saw what happened before when you had me right. And then you know it's funny? When you go back to the girl you used to be around these men, and you go back to the girl they have been like fighting to have access to, they start resenting you and reverting back to their old ways of being a total asshole. Do not respect these men. In fact, I need to repeat this to myself. When I start acting good, they start acting bad. So I just need to be permanently bad and then watch the good flow in. Same for Mitchell. I act bad to him. The second I'm going to talk to other dudes or do this or do that, suddenly he's going to be irate and fighting for my attention. And even then, I won't want it, and that's going to make him want me more because he's sick in the head. But it's okay. I have hobbies in life, and I'm going to ask what I want and fuck him because he's just some dude, and there's a lot of dudes out there who have healthy schedules and healthy lives, and he's not the last one. Trust me, I've dated that financial nepo baby. I cried over him for like a week and then moved the fuck on. Why? Because it's not hard to find like a software engineer or financial analyst. Like, come on now. Not hard to find a dude who happens to have nice eyes. Come on now. I'm just saying. Mitchell is a guy. There's a lot of other dudes who work out and have been fit. There's dudes who can take me to Lake Tahoe anytime I want. There's dudes who spend money, and there's dudes who definitely won't rape me or hurt me. Mitchell is a pathetic, disgusting man. And when I act bad, he acts good. So I'm going to act bad and I'm going to be good about it. Amen.